Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Fintech Fridays. Brian View, President, Chief Operating Officer of FinLocker here, and I've got a returning guest, Alex Levy with TechnoTree, and we're going to talk today to Alex about TrustStar. We're going to talk about kind of the market in general, and really, Alex, I want to poke at some of the things you're seeing from an adoption perspective across the industry. So welcome back to FinTech Fridays.
Thank you, Brian. Glad to be here, and always a pleasure speaking with you and be your guest. Appreciate it.
So last time we spoke, we were talking about a different version of TrustStar at the time, right? And you were gaining a lot of traction, and it's been well over a year. Let's remind some folks what you guys are doing with the TrustStar product, how it's helping loan officers and lenders in their kind of day to day, and then we'll go a couple of layers deeper and kind of dig into it a little bit.
Sure. So first of all, last time we talked, right? TrustStar was really in the oven, being baked, and now it's out of the oven. It's baked, and it's kind of looking good. It's being used in the market. We have about 500 different users, a dozen, lenders using it. And it is making a difference. And so just to remind, listeners about what it is, it's an intelligent application that is used by, lenders primarily, loan officers as well as branch managers who, are looking for opportunities. And so intelligence of that application is that connects, a loan officer with, a realtor who has a buyer, ready and willing to commit to a property, right? And so, and it's doing that, in all 50 states and every single county. So it's really an application that is bringing an opportunity, time and place, right, to an LO and to a lender who employs that LO, right? So, and if you think about it, right, I mean, those who are in sales, what is our greatest, commodity, most valuable? It's time, right? I mean, if we spend time on something that produces results, we do well. I mean, if we waste our time, we waste our time, right? So the value of TrustStar is to, make, everybody who's using it extremely productive in the way they use their time.
Yeah, as we all know, you could quote unquote waste $1 and recover that dollar, but if you waste an hour, you can never get that hour back. It doesn't work that way.
That's right.
So let's talk about like a couple real life examples of how a loan officer in a particular market using TrustStar is winning, right? Is winning and growing their business. Give us some color on what that looks like.
It's very simple. You wake up in the morning, you look at the app, and an app tells you what realtors in your network have business for you today, right? And that is as simple as that, right? And so normally, in a sales profession, you wake up in the morning and you have your calendar and you have, different activities primarily to generate more business and more pipeline, right? And you are, dealing with people who either you think going to give you time, right? Because they like you, and you think that those people have business for you today, right? So the likability is a human factor. There's nothing we can do about that, right? So if you're likable, right, and your network is going to, meet with you, right? So what TrustStar gives you is an opportunity to talk to people who have business for you today, right? And that just, again, as simple as that. And it makes it a productive endeavor for all parties involved. It makes it productive for a loan officer, obviously for the realtor, for the borrower, and for the lender, right? And so if you find more business this way, when you find more business this way every day, everybody benefits.
So is the TrustStar platform, it's sitting on top of a data set, right? Or multiple data sets.
It's a very, very elaborate data set that monitors, every activity of every single loan officer, pretty much every single realtor, 2.5 million of them, and it monitors census activity in every geography, right? It monitors buying and selling and registering of properties, right? But that's not the trick. I mean, data is available. What is a trick is how do you connect all those data elements in a way that makes sense for the user, right? And
Yeah.
that is an interconnected world. And so that's what makes this to be this problem, right, that we're solving, and that is providing an insight that's valuable now
Yeah.
for the recipient of that insight, right? That's an ultimately a great use case for an AI, because we're looking at the patterns and we're making sense of those patterns, based on the specific recipient, of that. And so connecting those dots is what AI does very, very well. So that's the secret sauce inside. This product is really different data models that connect those dots for the benefit of its recipient. And so as a result, LO benefits, lender benefits. We also have capability to hire LOs based on their profile, not simply based on their performance, right?
Yeah.
But based on their profile and their fit for a particular branch or a lender. And all of the data is aggregated hierarchically for a LO, for a branch, for a lender, and so on and so forth. So there's a value of those insights for different levels in the organization, from the ground level as well as at the executive level.
I think we may have touched on this last time we talked, but is there a use case with TrustStar for regulated financial institutions to support Community Reinvestment Act (CRA) activities? I would imagine so.
Yeah. One of the data sets that we have is CRA data set, so we understand where lending institutions, regulated lending institutions, need to lend, and so then within those areas we can connect, right, those who sell mortgages to those who list properties, and connect them in a way that again gives them an opportunity to do business together,
Right.
and that makes it's actually one of the things that drives me, I know drives you, is how to make the world a better place, right? And I've been in the technology field all my life, right? And I think I mentioned it to you. I brought 5 different technology products that at the time were transformational to market, and I was thinking in terms of what is the common between all of those things? What did I learn, right? And so what I learned is that great technology is not how fast you run and how many bombs you carry and all of that, right? It is something that people adapt, and if they adapt it, it changes their behavior in a way that they are, more productive, right? And they can do better things for themselves and for the business that they're in, right? And that's really what that is, right? And so TrustStar is one of those examples of how you can essentially make a world a better place by by spending less time, looking for business, and more time transacting business, but also making a pie bigger for everybody.
Right.
Right? And so that in the end is what I think this our industry is suffering from, is that the pie is not growing fast enough, right?
Yeah, and I think you hit on a piece of a long time issue, not just probably in mortgage, but in probably any industry. It's adoption, right? You could bring to market the best solution, or at least we think it's the best solution. But if those that are at the front line don't adopt it, then of course they're never going to get the benefit of it. They're never going to see the benefit of it, and then the end consumer doesn't get the benefit. So I'm curious, from your experience, you've brought, like you said, at least 5 transformational products to market. What is there any commonality around successful implementations and adoption? Like, where did you see the best results as it relates to adoption?
I must say that those 5 products, and I can tell you quickly what they are. I mean, one was but by training, I'm a semiconductor engineer. So my first product was in the semiconductor business. And, the product was a verification system that was able to validate functionality of the semiconductor before it was produced. It is still around. It is still in use. And it's the only way that semiconductors are now being designed. Right? Okay. And so it was at the same time when the product came to market, it was excruciatingly difficult to use. I mean, it required many, many people and many, many, many intelligent people to really figure out how to use it. But over time, technology evolved and it became really as easy as brushing your teeth, right?
Right.
And it became indispensable, right? TrustStar is on the other side of this thing. TrustStar is incredibly intuitive app. You don't really need to use it. Okay, it brings you the information you need to act on, right? And so then, and in that actually, in fact, lies, a fundamental human, problem, right? Because we all have a choice whether we act on something and we do not act on something, right?
Yes.
Right. And so no AI, nothing can change that very simple human condition, right? But I think with all of that said, what we're seeing with TrustStar, right, is that progressive organizations that around themselves on excellence, right, and they take care of the people who work for them, right, and they do things not just for the short-term benefit. They adapt it and they learn then how to change their behavior so they can benefit from this information, right? That's what we see. And I think in the end of the day, listen, this is an essence of capitalism. This is how it works, okay?
Yeah.
And that is how it's working, right? And so I think that our job as technologists and marketeers is to create it, bring it to market, explain it, make it as usable as it can be. But then at the end of the day, it's going to be adapted at a pace, right, that humans are able to adapt it. And again, my experience is such that, again, those who want to win, adapt it.
Right.
And that's how it works. I mean, let me just say this. I think in general, I mean, this industry, I'm launching into something, but this industry is shrinking. It is not,
Yes.
okay, it's shrinking. Okay. But at the same time, right, there's a plenty of business to go around. It's not going anywhere. Right. Okay. I mean, it's just as fundamental as United States of America, right? It's not going anywhere, right? So the only question is who is going to be faster, more nimble, be able to get to that piece of business that's out there. Right?
Yeah.
And so I think using technology is really table stakes. I mean, if you don't do it, you're not going to be able to compete.
Yeah.
Right. The rest is how do you perform as a human, as a person. Right.
Right.
So that's where we are. I mean, we give people an opportunity to be their best.
So I know earlier this summer you attended the Total Expert Accelerate, and that was really around at the time your recent integration. So you're obviously integrated with Total Expert. Any other key integrations that you guys have that I think help with adoption and acceptance?
Yeah. So I mean, first of all, I mean, I think that worth mentioning is that TrustStar been designed as a kind of a perfect product to be adapted by other platforms.
Right.
Okay. It's a simply, I mean, it's a feed that gives you data, right? And so you can consume the data within a variety of different platforms, within a CRM, within LOS, within POS, by itself, doesn't really matter, right? And so, quite frankly, I mean, the origins of relationship with Total Expert were in Digital Mortgage 2022, and we were on stage right next to each other. And, our co-founder, Matt, and I were listening to how Joe was pitching Total Expert. We looked at each other and said, he's singing our song. I mean, it's our song. And so after that, we met, and the rest is kind of history. So Uh, being the number one CRM product out there, it's just a natural combination and a partnership that we obviously value very much, and that makes a difference on the market.
And I would say, and without knowing this for a fact, that knowing what I know about the Total Expert platform, and in particular their customer insights engine, this is probably, that's probably the where everything lines up perfectly with TrustStar and Total Expert. Is that is that one of the places that you all are plugged into in Total Expert, is in the
Yeah.
insights
So
engine?
yeah. So basically, I mean, it's a using technical terms, it's a single sign-on. I mean, whoever is logged in Total Expert is logged in TrustStar, and so then TrustStar works on the basis of knowing its user,
Yeah.
right? So on those basis, right, LO who is using, or marketeer who's using Total Experts is receiving insights about their network of realtors, and that those insights are then put in a proper place at Total Expert, depending on what they are, either as tasks or they put in the campaigns or in groups. And so you have real-time alerts in terms of what is going on, and then you act on those alerts. And so
Right.
there's two cadences, right? One is that information is very fresh, and need to act on that information ASAP, right?
Yep.
And then, of course, there is a fishing expedition where you're developing your pipeline, you engage in more strategic, and so endeavors, right? And so TrustStar gives information that you not necessarily can want to use immediately, right? But something gives you an opportunity to establish relationship,
Yep.
right? And therefore be much more purposeful in the way you spend your time, and again your marketing dollars, and on and on. So it's it benefits both parties. The one who is using TrustStar, and the one who is acting based on that information as a recipient of that. Makes in this case a lender and a realtor, right, more productive.
Right. I love it. And clearly this market is, lenders, loan officers, and realtors are looking for every advantage for them in their business. And so I think, based on what you described, Alex, TrustStar certainly falls into that bucket of an innovative platform that can advantage and create opportunities, or not create, but uncover opportunities that are otherwise there anyway for both sides of the transaction. I love it. Anything else you'd like to share before we wrap it up?
The only thing I'll say in the end is that I think that 2024 is going to be an incredible year for this industry. I firmly believe that whatever we hear on the market today in terms of inflation, interest rates, and everything else, it's something that us who participate in this market can do nothing about,
Right.
right? Right. And so the question is how you thrive in this market. It's really up to us. Technology is what enables us to be better, but it's really up to us to be better. Right. And
I love it.
so I think that everybody should be excited about 2024, 2025. Those are going to be great years for the industry, and I wish everybody great success.
Well, that's an uplifting way to wrap this one up. I appreciate it, Alex. Thanks for coming back on. Good luck to you and TrustStar, and we'll do this again very soon.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Brian. You have a great day. Bye-bye.
And everybody else, thanks for tuning in. Come back next Friday for our next episode. Thank you.